Welcome to the Girl Means Business podcast. I'm Kendra Swalls, a former teacher turned entrepreneur and mom of two. As women, we are so much more than just one thing. We're wives, moms, entrepreneurs, side hustlers, and dreamers with goals and ambition. On this podcast, we'll talk about everything from juggling family, work, and fun to making your dreams a reality through simple, effective marketing strategies, all designed specifically for the busy mom who doesn't have a lot of extra time. So whether you're just getting started or already have an established business, there's something here for you. If you're ready to take on the challenge of becoming your own boss and making your dreams a reality, then let's get started because this girl means business. Hey there, and welcome to episode 223 of the Girl Means Business podcast. Now, back a few episodes ago, I think it was episode 220, I talked about the fact that we are in a bit of a social media recession for several reasons. And if you did not listen to that episode, please go back and take a listen. It's a really good episode kind of about the state of social media and where we're at, and gave a couple of tips on how to continue to grow on social media during this sort of lower season when it comes to engagement. And one of the things that is really key to social media is obviously being social. And one of the best ways to do that is through your DMs. It is a very underutilized feature of social media. A lot of people, really focus on those vanity metrics, the likes, the saves, the shares, the comments, all that kind of stuff, the story views, when really where the magic happens is inside those DMs. That's where the conversations take place. That's where the connections are made. That's where it goes beyond just vanity metrics, just I'm watching and clicking and liking, but not actually engaging. And a lot of the larger accounts, or not even larger, but some of the more successful accounts are the ones that have really started to learn how to cultivate conversations within the DMs. So for this week's episode, what I wanted to do is bring in a replay of an older episode all about how to utilize your DMs on your social media. I talk a lot about just some tips and tricks, what to do if you're not getting people sending you messages, how to use automation for your messages, which is incredible. You need to be doing that if you're not already. And all the little tips and tricks for building connections and conversations inside of the DMs. So I'm going to be playing that replay for y'all here today. I hope you enjoy it. And then head on over to Instagram. You can find me at Girl Means Business. I also, some breaking news, have started a new Instagram account called the Focused Photographer Lab. I will link to it down in the show notes. And this is a place specifically for photographers. So if you're listening to this and you are a photographer, I have created this account specifically for marketing strategies for photographers. So if that is you and you fall into that category, please head over to the Focused Photographer Lab and click follow, come say hi, let me know you heard me here on the podcast, and let's start a conversation in the DMs. In the meantime, here is our episode all about sliding into those DMs. Today, we're talking all about social media. However, we're going to get really specific on the most important feature on social media. Do you happen to know what it is? It's not Reels. It's not going live. It's not stories. It's not carousel posts. It's none of those things. The most valuable feature we have available to us on social media is the DMs. We've all heard the saying, slide into my DMs, but honestly, that's what we want our audience to do. We want them to slide into our DMs and start a conversation, because those conversations are what turn followers into clients. So how do we do that? Well, today I'm going to walk through a couple of quick little strategy tips for you to help you get some conversations going in your DMs. So let's start with the basics. How do you even get someone to send you a DM? We hear all the time about these Instagram accounts, these Facebook people who have their just inboxes flooded with messages and they can't even respond to all of them. And they're hiring assistants to help them manage their conversations. And you're sitting here looking at your inbox going, where are all of mine? Why is no one messaging me? So here's the thing. If you want people to send you messages, you have to tell them to send you messages. I know that sounds incredibly simple, but that's the truth. It all comes back to your call to action. If you want someone to like your post, you have to tell them to like your post multiple times. If you want people to comment on your content, you have to tell them to comment on your content. You start to see the trend here. If you want them to send you a message, you have to encourage them to send you messages. I know this sounds really simplistic, but it all goes back to, I think about like with my own children. They have to be told something multiple times before it actually sinks into their brain. And your audience is the same way. They need to be told something multiple times. They need to almost be given permission to say, hey, I want you to message me. I want you to slide into my DMs and start a conversation before they're actually going to do it. And again, they may not do it right away. So I know some of you are probably screaming at your phone or your radio right now going, Kendra, I do this. I tell people to message me and no one does. I get it. But if you're not doing it consistently or you're not sharing examples of other people that have done it, then you're just kind of shouting into a void. So we have to make sure that we are asking them to send us messages. And I want you to share examples. So let me give an example of how to share an example. I recently received a question in my DM about Instagram Reels. It's a common question a lot of people have, and I sent my response back to this person. And then I took a screenshot of that conversation and I shared it to my Instagram stories. So it was me kind of saying like, here's a common question I know a lot of you have because I get this question a lot. Here is my response to it. But I did it in the way of sharing that screenshot. Well, I received a message after that from another follower who said, oh my gosh, I've had this exact same question. I've thought about messaging you multiple times, but I didn't want to bother you with that question. Thank you so much for sharing your answer. And that one phrase, I didn't want to bother you with my question, really is what stood out to me. She felt like she was going to be bothering me or, adding to my plate or whatever if she sent me a message. And I responded, I told her, I was like, please, always, my DMs are open. Like, feel free to ask me anything. I will let you know if it's, something I can answer or something that you can find in one of my courses or through coaching or whatever. But she needed permission to hop into my DMs. And so by sharing and saying, hey, I want you to message me. Hey, my inbox is always open. Here's a screenshot of a conversation of someone asking me a question in my DMs or responding to a story or something. If it's coming from your DMs, share it to your stories. Obviously, you can always mark out the person's name so that their information is not being shared. You can do it in a way that's kind of incognito, but it is letting your audience know that this is an acceptable way to get in touch with you. Now, the other thing is a lot of times we bury the CTA, the call to action, in our caption at the very, very end. And here's the problem with that is that one, some people are not going to read the caption. They're going to see your photo, they're going to see your carousel or your reel or whatever, but they're not necessarily going to read the caption. If they do read the caption, they may only skim it and only the top part, especially if it's a longer caption, because they just want to kind of grab the quick information and move on. So if you're putting that line of send me a DM for X, Y, or Z, or DM me if you have questions or whatever your call to action is, if it's buried at the very bottom of your caption, they're likely not seeing it. So put it in the middle, put it at the top, put it on your content. I see this happen all the time on Reels and carousel posts. They'll put a little thing that's like DM me for questions or send me a message and let's chat or however it's worded, but they actually put it onto the graphic or onto the carousel slides or in their reel where people are going to actually see it. One of my biggest pet peeves is when clients will come to me or someone will send me a message and I'm doing all the things you've said to do and nothing's working. And then I go look at their content and they've buried the call to action so far deep into the caption that nobody's actually seeing it. And so you have to train yourself to test it in different places, put it into your stories, put it at the beginning of your caption, put it in your content, put it everywhere to the point where if you feel like you're saying it too often, you're probably saying it just enough. So again, we have to teach our audience how to send us messages. We have to teach them and give them permission to say, it's okay, I want you to send me a message. Another common mistake I see people making is they make the barrier to entry a little bit too challenging. This is the same with asking for people to comment on your post. If you are giving them very open-ended calls to action, your audience doesn't really know what to do with that. We want to be told exactly what to do. I love it when a post says, drop your favorite emoji in the comments. That's an easy thing for me to do. It doesn't require a whole lot of work on my part. It doesn't require me to think a whole lot. It doesn't require me to be witty or funny or smart or any of those things. It's just me following the directions they've given. And so a lot of times when we use those simple calls to action of, let me know what you think in the comments, or send me a DM if you have questions, those don't always work. It's better than nothing, don't get me wrong, but they don't always work because it requires the audience to then use their brain too much. So we want to remove that barrier to entry. We want to make it as easy as humanly possible for people to send us a message. One of the things I absolutely love to do this with is to use what I call a keyword automation. Now, keyword automation is, you've probably seen them on social media. You can do it on Instagram or on Facebook, and it's where you say, comment below with this word and I will send you a DM with more information. Or it says, send me, DM me the word blah, 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 and I will send you more information. The reason that these keywords work is because you're removing that barrier to entry. You are telling your audience exactly what they need to do in order to get in touch with you or in order to get more information. Now, here is why using these keywords and getting people into your DMs is so important. Let's say that you have a free lead magnet you're trying to get people onto your email list through. And let's say that lead magnet is like a style guide of some kind, and you have it linked in your bio. So you could easily say, head to the link in my bio and grab my style guide. Well, that requires extra steps. That means that somebody that is scrolling through Instagram, they're going to see your post, they're going to read the caption, or they're going to see it on the graphic, head to my bio. Then they have to click on your name. They have to go to your bio. They have to click on that link in your bio. Then they have to find whatever it is in your bio list, your link list that they need, that they want, the style guide. They have to click on that. Then they have to input their name and their email, and then they have to submit it, and then they have to go back to Instagram. That's a lot of steps. And it may not seem like it's that difficult, but that is stopping a ton of people from actually getting the thing that you're offering. Instead, if you use keyword automation and you put up a post and you say, I've got this really cool style guide, it's going to give you links to all these really cool outfits. You're giving them all the things that's going to help you look and feel amazing for your next photo shoot or on your next brand session or whatever it is you're marketing it for. All you have to do is comment below with the word style, or send me a DM with the word style, and I will send you a link to download my free guide. Well, now the beauty of this is they don't have to go anywhere, especially if it's the comment piece, because then what happens is they leave a comment on your post with the word style. That counts as engagement towards your post.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Can I ask you a quick question? What's your relationship with Instagram like? Are you in a committed relationship, or are you on the verge of breaking up? If you said the latter, then you aren't alone. I see comments and posts all the time from business owners just like you who are frustrated with social media and just want to give up. But before you throw in the towel, I have some exciting news. I'm now offering a limited number of Instagram audits each month. So what's an Instagram audit? Well, it's a deep dive into your account to find out what's working, what's not working, and some next steps that you can take to help you feel excited about growing your business on Instagram again. Because we all know that social media is such a valuable part of growing a business. Each audit comes with a 10-page PDF report with a summary of my findings, along with a personalized video walkthrough of your account and thoughts and suggestions for next steps. Because I personally spend a lot of time going through each account with a fine-tooth comb, I can only take a few audits per month, and spaces are limited. So if you're ready to grow your business with Instagram without the frustration and overwhelm, then head to the link in the show notes or go to girlmeansbusiness.com/audit to sign up today. It's time to get excited about using Instagram for your business again, and I want to help you do that.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
If you have been listening to the Girl Means Business podcast for any amount of time, then you know my love of email marketing runs deep. Not only is it a great way to generate new leads, but it's one of the most effective methods for nurturing warm leads and turning them into sales. Now, over the years, I've tested several email platforms, and my favorite by far is Flowdesk. Not only do they make email marketing simple and easy, even for the technically challenged, but they have everything you need to create stunning emails, capture leads, make sales, and automate the entire process, giving you time back in your busy day. And the cherry on top is you're only charged one flat fee no matter how many subscribers you have. So while other platforms will increase your price when you go over your pricing tier limit, Flowdesk has no price increases or hidden fees. If you're ready to give Flowdesk a try, click the link below in the show notes to save 50% off your first year. Let Flowdesk help you design emails people will love. Click the link below and check it out. I have a feeling you're going to love it just as much as I do. You can set it up to send an automatic comment reply. So if I comment style, then that person, I get an automatic reply. I don't necessarily know it's an automatic reply if I'm not savvy to all of this. And it might be something saying like, awesome, I can't wait for you to check it out. Check your DMs for a message from me, or however you can have it say a couple different things. Then this free style guide, the link to your landing page where they can enter their name and email or download the guide or view your price list or whatever it is you're sending them to, is in their inbox. Now, here's the other great thing about this. When it's in their inbox, they are more likely to come back to it and actually take action on it. If you are posting about your services, your products, something you're giving away for free, and it is just, here's the information, do what you want with it, they're not going to do anything with it. But if it is something that you're like, here, make it simple. All you have to do is write the word style in the comments, and I will send you everything into your inbox. And then in their DMs, that link is now there. They can go back to that link whenever they want. They don't have to stop scrolling. They don't have to step away from Instagram. It's right there saved in their inbox. The other beautiful thing is that now you've started a conversation inside of Instagram. Now, if you're hearing this, you're like, this all sounds amazing. I want to do this. Here's the little bit of a catch, is that keyword automation has to use a third-party app to make it happen. So I use ManyChat. I will link to it in the show notes. You can click the link. You can sign up for free and test it out. It is amazing. It does a ton of automations on several platforms, Instagram, Facebook, maybe even like Twitter and TikTok. I'm not 100% sure because I don't use those two platforms, but I know for sure Instagram and Facebook. It makes things so simple, and it really, really takes like all the work out of it. The other beautiful thing is you're not having to do this on your own. So if you put up your post and you say, hey, I've got this really cool style guide, comment the word style below and I'll send it to you. If it's 3 a.m. and someone on the other side of the world sees your post and they're like, yeah, I want my style guide. Or if someone's up late scrolling on Instagram and they see your post, or 3 weeks later, you're on vacation and someone comes across your post and they comment with the word style, your ManyChat automation, your keyword automation you've set up in place, it activates automatically and you don't have to lift a finger. So it is consistently working in your business while you're doing other things. You are building connections in your DMs. And the other thing is you can set up your ManyChat conversation, your bot, if you will, to have an entire conversation with your new follower, your new friend in your DMs. And it's all done. You don't have to lift a finger. Now, clearly you have to go back and have more conversations later on, but that initial conversation is a lot like a welcome series on your email list. It is done for you. Set it, forget it, go about your day. It's beautiful. So I highly recommend that. It's the easiest way to start a conversation in the DMs. So if you're thinking, I don't have people sending me DMs, using these ManyChat automations is such an easy way to get those conversations started. And again, I have that mini chat link down in the show notes so you can go check it out for free and try your first keyword automation. I would love to know if you try it. Please tell me how it works for you, or send me a link to your post in my DM so I can go check it out and test it for you and do all the fun things. It is one of the best things I've ever used in my social media, hands down. It's incredible. Okay, so now let's talk about what do you do once you have a conversation kind of going in your DMs, whether they have used a keyword automation or they've popped in with a question. What do you do next? You don't just want to jump into selling them something. Raise your hand. I know I'm raising mine. How many of you have ever had someone pop into your DMs that seems like they're interested in what you do, and the next thing you know, you're like, oh, you're just trying to sell me on something? This literally just happened to me the other day, where someone popped in my DMs, complimenting me on the podcast, talking about a recent episode. We started a conversation, and pretty quickly I could tell, oh, they're trying to pitch me their podcast services. So we don't want to be that person. We honestly want to start a conversation that naturally leads to sales. So how do you do that? Well, it starts with just being personable. Having a conversation with these people coming into your DMs as if they were just a friend. Now, if they're asking questions about your services or specific products, then you can go into the whole spiel and your pitch and all those things. But if they're genuinely just popping in to respond to a story you posted or to respond to your free lead magnet, then follow up with genuine conversation. It doesn't always have to lead to a sale right then and there. But if you are opening the line of communication, if someone sends you a message and is like, hey, I downloaded that style guide, I really love it, just respond and say, oh, I'm so glad you love it. Was there anything in particular that you really were excited about? Genuinely ask them questions, get feedback, even if it stops there. The beauty is you are now part of a conversation in their DMs that's not going anywhere. So you can pop back in at any time and be like, hey, I just wanted to follow up and ask this question. Or you can send a message and say, hey, I thought about our conversation from a week or two ago. There's this really cute outfit at blah, blah, blah store that I thought might be perfect for you, or because you liked this, you might like that. There's so many ways that you can just then have normal conversations. It's staying front of mind. It's becoming someone that they connect a connection with. So when they see you pop up on Instagram, they're like, oh yeah, she actually had a conversation with me. The other thing is people want to feel valued. They want to feel like that what they have to say is important. And so if you're giving them space to say what they want to say and to have a conversation with them, that means something to them. And so don't devalue those quick little one-off, DMs that you get. Those still are building valuable connection with your audience that could come back at some point and turn into your best client yet. So just keep the conversations you would have with a friend. And if they naturally lead into a sale, or if you naturally can kind of say like, hey, you're asking about X, Y, or Z, and I have a product or service that can help with that, then you can go ahead and bring that in. But nobody wants to be pitched to or sold to right away. They just want to feel like they are connecting with someone that they look up to or they admire or that they feel a connection with on social media. All right, before we wrap up today's episode, I have a bonus DM tip for you. This is something that I saw another Instagram account doing, and I really loved the idea. And so I started testing it for myself, and it's actually really amazing. Now, the problem is it does take time and effort on your part, because this is not something you want to automate. It's something you do have to do kind of by hand. However, it can be really, really powerful. So here's the bonus tip. What I want you to do is I want you to go through your content, and I want you to create saved folders. So let's say, for example, you are a wedding photographer and a lot of your content is around wedding planning, venues, flowers, dress shops, like anything wedding related, invitations, guest list ideas, all that kind of stuff. So you're sharing valuable content around those things. And then let's say you I'm going to take venues, for example, and I'm going to create a saved folder within my saved folders on Instagram that is my own content, that's wedding venue content. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to save all the posts that I've created about different wedding venues in my area to that folder. Then I'm going to do the same thing for things like location ideas or dress shops or whatever other, topics you typically share content about, sort of your content pillars. Now, you're going to have those, you're going to create those. That's one and done. You've created it. You can keep adding to them as you add new content. But here's why you're going to do that. Anytime someone new follows you, I want you to go and I want you to look at who they are. I want you to look at their profile. If you can tell that there's someone who's a potential client, I want you to send them a message, because DMs don't have to go one way. You don't have to wait for your audience to send you a message. You can reach out to them as long as it's done in the right way. Now, we've all seen those, those bot messages where you follow someone and you immediately get a response and it's like, thanks so much for following me. And you can tell it's an auto-generated response. I don't want you doing that. Here's how we're going to personalize a little bit. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go into your Instagram settings and you are going to create a saved reply. Now, what a saved reply is it is like a keyword that you create on your own. So you create a whole sort of template message. And then when you go into your DMs, when you type in a specific word that you set, it auto-populates this message that you've saved. For example, I have one that if I just type in TY, it auto-populates thank you. It's not that big a deal to type out thank you, but sometimes it's just, TY, and then it sends thank you. In this case, what I do is I use the keyword new, but I spell it a little differently, NEWW, because I don't want it to auto-populate every time I use the word new in a message. So if I go in, I type in the word new, NEWW, this auto message populates into my text box to send to whoever I'm sending a message to. Now, this welcome message, I keep it short and simple, but I basically say, hey, thank you so much for following me. I'm so excited that you are here. Here are some of the things that I share content around these topics. And then I list like 3 or 4 topics. And these 3 or 4 topics are the same things that I've just created saved folders for. So in the example of the wedding photographer, you might say, hey, thank you so much for following me. I'm so excited you're here. Congratulations on planning the perfect wedding. Here on my feed, I talk about, or I share information around finding your perfect venue, choosing your perfect dress, tips for whatever you've saved folders for. If any of these topics are something you're interested in, let me know, and I'll be sure to tag you in some of my best posts, my favorite post, whatever. You can kind of word it how you like. The beauty thing here is that before I send it, I go and I look for this person, whoever followed me, for their first name. So if her name is Susie Q, then I'm going to come in and say, hey, Susie, instead of just saying, hey. It makes it a little more personalized, a little more customized. It's not a generic message this person's getting. I also don't do it right when they follow me. I go in about once a week and I filter for all my notifications. I filter for new followers, and I go in and I only send it to the new followers that I feel like are actually going to be good clients, good followers. If it's someone who's like definitely a bot, or you can tell that they're a vendor, they're just looking to make a connection, they're not an actual potential client, then I don't worry about it sending it to them, but I do send it to those that I'm like, oh yeah, this one might be an actual potential client. I'm going to send them this message. Now, in that message, I've given them my kind of pillars of things that my content talks about. When they respond to me and they say, oh yeah, we're, thank you so much. We're just starting to plan our wedding. We're really interested in finding like the perfect venue. Then you can say, okay, awesome. I'm going to tag you in a couple of my favorite posts about some of my favorite venues. You go back into that saved folder and you find the post about the venues, that folder you made about like the local wedding venues, and you go through and you tag her in all of those posts. So now let's think about what we've just done here. We've built a connection with a new follower beyond just, great, you followed me. Now it's on you to engage with my content. You've taken initiative and you said, hey, you've chosen to follow me. I'm going to start building a connection with you and have a conversation with you. And when you send that welcome message, if she replies with, thank you so much, I'm so excited, we just got engaged last week and we're just starting the wedding process, it's so overwhelming, you can have a conversation with her about all of these things. And I guarantee you, any other wedding photographer that she followed on Instagram is not starting their conversation with her like this. You are. So you're going to stand out. You're going to stay front of mind. And most likely you'll be the one that she chooses if all the cards align, you fit in her budget and all the things. But you've built this connection with her from the beginning. Now, not everyone's going to respond to your message, and that's totally fine. But the ones that do are the ones that are really like your most valuable followers. Now, the other thing is, besides starting this conversation, you've now just given her, you've tagged her in like half a dozen posts. She's going to go engage with that content, and you are reboosting your engagement on old content. So instead of posting content and letting it just kind of die off into your feed, you are able to re-engage some of your best content by tagging these new followers so that they think, oh my gosh, yes, she's actually like sharing these really great tips. She's tagging me. She's making a point to engage with me. That says a lot, and it goes a long way to helping you build strong connections with your clients. Now, obviously, if you're getting 100 followers a week, this is going to be harder to do. If you're getting 100 followers a week, then applause to you. You probably don't need these strategies. However, if you're just getting a handful of followers here and there, this is a really, really great way to start engaging in your DMs with these followers and building lasting connections. And now we come to the part of this episode where I ask you to send me a DM. I want to know your thoughts on this episode. So here is my call to action. Head over to my Instagram account at Girl Means Business. It's linked down in the show notes. And I want you to send me a DM and let me know which of these strategies, where in this journey are you with it when it comes to your DMs? Or do you need to be focusing on actually getting people to message you? Do you need work on creating strong calls to action? Are you really intrigued by the idea of keyword automation? Do you want to know more about ManyChat? Or was the bonus tip at the end your absolute favorite? And if you're planning to try it, let me know. Or I'm happy to even like be your test account. Let me know what it is you need help with. So head over to my DMs, say hi if nothing else. Let me know you listened to this episode, and I can't wait to get to know you a little bit more. All right, guys, I hope you have a fabulous week, and I will see you back here next week, same time, same place.